Hello, my name is Wyatt Langford, and today I'm going to be talking about the federal power over money and how it impacts you. The Federal Reserve is a group of people who are chosen by Congress, and now that means they are nominated for their experience and their connections to Congress itself. That's what they are, and that's who they are. So, in this presentation, I'm going to be talking about who they are, why they do the things they do, what they are, um, what tools they're going to use to make those changes to the economy, because that's their goal, is to help keep the economy going, and the impacts of those tools, and how we're going to see them, where they're going to see them, and when they're going to see them. And so our overall goal is to in, inform everybody, inform you of exactly how you can take advantage of the Federal Reserve because they do not have your best interest in mind. This is the cycle of money of the federal of that the Federal Reserve uses, or just the Fed uses, to influence the money and how circulation works. So in this circulation, the Fed will, there's a certain amount of money. I have $100. The Fed buys $1 trillion. They just spent $1 trillion of stocks in the economy because it's the middle of COVID and nothing's working. No one's spending any money. So they have to make up for it. They spend $1 trillion. My $100 in the middle of $1 trillion is not a lot. That's inflation. My money is now worth less. They also, the Fed, can change the rates of the bank loans. So the banks take out loans with each other. That they can then change my mortgage rate. If I have a certain mortgage rate and the Fed says, hey, banks now owe more, the bank's going to make me owe more, which means I'm going to spend less. So during COVID, they actually dropped the interest rate to make everybody be able to spend as much money as they want with no mortgage rates, no interest rates at all. That's how they can manipulate you. This is the federal fund rate. So this is a percentage that influences the mortgage rates that we have. So this during right now is at 5%, which makes the mortgage rate 8%. During COVID, as you can see, it was near zero. Just a history of it, just show you how much they've changed things. Each crash, as you can see, each recession has extremely low mortgage rates, and really high mortgage rates means they're trying to stop people from spending. So the tools are powerful, as we can see, because the housing crash was nearly as bad as the Depression, and they stopped that. And the economy was extremely bad, and they recovered it by spending trillions. The Fed's true goal. So this is where we talk about how the Fed's tools are powerful and they're not to be trusted because their goal is to keep the economy going, including spiking inflation, sacrificing whatever they need to, namely the consumer's money, right? This is the mortgage rates. As we can see right now, they are incredibly high, and they're even higher than this is the third highest they've ever been in the past, I believe, 60 years is this chart. So the Fed sacrifices, as I said, but I didn't mention that this is a status quo, right? They want everything to continue moving. They want everything to stay the same, including your position right now. So if everything's the same, then everything's working, right? That's their process. That's their thought process. So the inflation that they spend and cause is going to destroy your money value, as well as they are going to make sure that the banks stay open and stay available, even if they're supposed to fail. In summary, the Fed is powerful and ruthless. So, what do we need to do? We need to make sure that we invest money when the Fed is spending trillions, right? Because when they're spending a bunch of money and making sure that the companies are alive, that also means the companies used to be doing really bad. And when you invest money in a company that's doing bad, but then they get trillions of dollars from the Federal Reserve, they're going to be doing good much, much sooner. So invest, watch what the Federal Reserve does. When they lower that percentage, that is when you invest because your mortgage rates, your interest rates, your loans, they're all going to be lower. And then when they're spending money, you also need to be spending money, putting it into the economy because it's clearly going to bounce back soon. When they're not spend or when they are not spending money, when they're trying to um yeah, when they're not spending money is when you also need to not be spending money. So in conclusion, watch the Federal Reserve, invest when they do, do not when they don't, and make sure that your money stays valuable.